Hey guys, this is Sachi. I'm a realtor at Right at Home Realty in downtown Toronto. Today I have a special guest, Yzabelle. She is a mortgage agent, so I'm gonna ask her some common questions about the mortgage. Let's get started.
Can you introduce about yourself?
Of course. Yes, so my name is Yzabelle. I am a mortgage agent in Ontario. My brokerage, we're called the Mortgage Coach, and we are under the Capital Lending Center network. So we are called the CLC network. I'm enjoying it a lot being in mortgages. So
How do you qualify for the mortgage, and what document do you need from the buyers?
yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good question. And a lot of people tend to realize that they might not have a lot of the things lined up for them, right? So to qualify for a mortgage, you definitely need to start with having a conversation with your preferred mortgage broker or agent. If you're watching this, call me and Sachi. So have that conversation and talk to them about your goals and your current situation. And then we can guide you from there as to what the next steps are. Now, typically, you would be asked to fill out an online application so then we can get a little bit of a glimpse to your current situation. And to accompany that application, we're going to need some documents. So preliminary documents that we will usually request from you as the applicants are your IDs. So we do need 2 IDs, sometimes just 1, depending on the lender. But to be safe, we do need 2. And just keep in mind, health cards are not accepted. I don't know why, but they don't accept health cards. But we do take, as long as 1 is a government ID, the other one could be a credit card as well. So 2 IDs there. We need an updated letter of employment. And that letter of employment needs to state your current position, your status, if you're full-time or part-time, if you're paid salary or hourly, when you started, and who to contact if we needed to contact. So that's just the basics with regards to a letter of employment. And again, that does need to be an updated letter. Okay, so it can't be from like last year or 2 years ago. Additional documents will require typically pay stubs. So we would usually need 2 recent pay stubs to confirm your income. We need your 2 years T4. So if you're looking at applying right now in 2021, we're going to need your 2020 T4 and your 2019 T4. And then, moving on from there, right? And then sometimes we may also need your notice of assessment. So when you file your taxes every year, the CRA will then assess your taxes and they'll provide you with a notice of assessment. Now that notice of assessment may tell you that you have a refund, great. But if you owe the government taxes and you had to pay, you will need that notice of assessment to be accompanied by a confirmation that your taxes have been paid. Yes, a statement of account. So that statement of account should confirm that your taxes are up to date and that they're paid. So those 2 things come hand in hand, okay? And then proof of your down payment. So if you have money put aside in your investments and savings and there are multiple accounts, we're going to need 90-day statements for that down payment to confirm and show the lender that you've had that down payment saved for at least 90 days. And if it's a gifted down payment, we're going to need a gift letter from whoever's gifting it to you. It has to be from immediate family though. And as well as sometimes the lenders may ask for statements from the donors. So from your parents or whoever it is that's gifting. So yeah, I know it seems like a lot, but that's usually the start of it. And then once we submit the application, the lenders may come back and request for additional documents. So just something to keep in mind.
Okay, that's good information. And what can you tell us about the interest rates?
Oh, the $1 million question. Everybody wants to know what the rates are. But one thing to keep in mind is rates change all the time, right? They could change on a daily basis. Luckily, we as mortgage agents and brokers, we get updates from our lenders and from the industry. As of right now, May 2021, we're looking at rates starting at 1.94 to 2.29 for insured mortgages, meaning mortgages that have less than 20% down. And for uninsured mortgages, meaning if you have more than 20% down, if you're purchasing a home that's over $1 million, or if you have an amortization of 30 years, then you are considered an uninsured mortgage. The rates for those mortgages start at 2.34 and it goes up from there. And then rentals, if it's an investment property, then we're now looking at around 2.49 and above. Yeah, so it's best to just keep in touch with your mortgage agent and see where things are at, right? But just keep in mind too that your mortgage agent will always work on your behalf. So they have the power to negotiate and try and find you guys the better rate.
Okay. Can you talk about the stress test? And is it hard to get a mortgage since June 1st?
Yes. So as of yesterday, May 20th, C has confirmed that stress test is increasing. To some, it might sound really bad, but the reality is they're just trying to go back to normal. At least that's my opinion. That's how I see it. Right now, stress test is 4.79%, meaning that borrowers have to qualify at a higher rate in order to even, move to the next stage. By June 1st, that is increasing to 5.25%, which is a tad bit higher. And the way that we're looking at it is with that increase in stress test, the purchasing power of borrowers may be impacted about 4 to 5%. So that means your purchasing power could be reduced by 4% or to 5%.
Can people get a mortgage when they are on EI or CERB, or what about self-employed?
Good question. So EI and CERB and self-employed, definitely two different things. When you're on EI, it really depends on why you're on EI. So if you're on EI because you lost your job, then unfortunately you may have a hard time qualifying for a mortgage because that EI is definite. Right, it ends after a certain period of time, depending on how much you qualified for. So given that it's only for a certain period of time, it'll be hard for the banks to say, yeah, we can lend, $500,000 to this borrower, even though we don't know if he's going to get a job, right? So that's going to be tough. I don't think I've seen anybody qualify with EI only for a mortgage. And with regards to CERB, I believe last year when COVID hit and the CERB, thing was rolled out, B lenders were accepting it for a certain period of time, but now they completely stopped. So I don't think they are qualifying people on CERB now. Because they don't know when it's going to end, right?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Self-employed, very different again. Self-employed just means that you are making, you have your own business, you're making your own income. But of course, being a business owner, you have expenses as well. So the income you make before expenses, that it's up to you how much you can pay yourself, right? So with self-employed, we typically need additional documents. Typically that is, that could include 6 months bank statements, maybe 12 months. We'll likely need T1 generals to see how much you actually made versus what's on your T4 or whatever you claimed. Because if we can use a higher income for you, then we'd rather do that and qualify you, right?
Can you tell us about the rebates and the incentives for first-time home buyers?
Yes. So first-time home buyers, you do have some rebates around here. Now, some are only applicable to new housing. But one of the rebates that some people miss out is the land transfer tax rebate. So you can actually claim back or get like a refund on some of your land transfer taxes because it is part of your closing. Now, I believe it does depend on how much. So I don't have a range or, a set number or anything, but just make sure that if you are a first-time home buyer, you're buying a home now, make sure that you speak to your lawyer about that. And they should help you claim that land transfer tax rebate. It's all done during closing. The other rebate that some first-time home buyers can qualify for is if you're buying a new house or if you're building your own home. So you can actually, it's more of claiming on your taxes, right? So when you file your taxes, you can claim this GST and HST rebate on your home, and you can get a portion back from the amount that you've paid to build that house. Tax credits. So this isn't really much of a rebate. It's more of a credit. So as a first-time home buyer, when you file your taxes, you can claim, I believe it's roughly $750 to offset some of the legal costs or closing costs in general. Of course, there's the home buyer's plan. Not so much rebates, more of an incentive. right? So you can borrow up to $35,000 from your RRSP.
Last question. So do you have any mortgage tips for the first-time home buyers?
Definitely tips, start the conversation early, right? So if you're thinking of being a homeowner at some point, even if it's 2 or 3 years from now, just call us, right? Have the conversation, ask us, what do you need to prepare? It's better to have a look at your current finances now and where you're positioned as an applicant than finding out 6 months from the time you want to buy that you have a lot more to work on. So definitely start that conversation early. Find somebody that is willing to work with you long term, of course. One of them being us. We want to work with our clients and help them out. And just be open, right? Have that conversation early. And then my next tip would be when you're searching for your partners, realtor, mortgage agent, the right partner, I find, will really take the time to explain things to you and even work with you long term to guide you to get to that buying stage, right? So this is a very big purchase. It's a big investment, right? We want to be able to help our clients. We want those clients to start investing eventually and not just buy a home and be in that home and that being the only thing that they have. So those 2 things would be my top for sure. And then, stay in touch with us, right? Ask questions. New things come up all the time. There are always new rules, new updates.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
it's good to stay in touch with us and, see what's going on in the market.